Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Jelly roll skinny enough to ride. In Berlin after 200 elbow weight loss, the streets of Berlin were alive that night, neon lights spilling across cobblestones, electric scooters buzzing past, and music echoing out of dimly lit clubs. But amid all that energy, one man's story was drawing louder applause than even the spinning inside the legendary venues of the city. Jason, better known to the world as Jelly Roll. For years, fans had known him for his gravelly voice, soulful storytelling, and larger-than-life presence. But now, when he stepped onto a stage in Berlin for the first stop of his European tour, there was something different. He wasn't just carrying the microphone. He was carrying proof of his personal battle, a body nearly 200 pounds lighter, a spirit brighter, and a grin that showed he knew he was about to shock the world. The journey to Berlin Jelly Roll's transformation hadn't come easy. For most of his career, he had worn his struggles on his sleeve, his tattoos, his lyrics, his voice, all reflections of the storms he'd weathered. Food and self-doubt had always been among the demons he wrestled with. Every time he sang about redemption, it wasn't just about escaping prison walls or fighting addiction. It was also about the daily war with his own body. The decision to change wasn't sudden, but the weight of fame brought clarity. "Man," he once admitted in an interview, "I didn't want to be remembered as the guy who sang about second chances but never gave himself one." And so, brick by brick, step by step, pound by pound, he began. The treadmill became his stage long before Berlin did. Sweat replaced applause. Kale and lean chicken replaced late-night burgers. And slowly, painfully, triumphantly, the man who once feared he wouldn't live to see his daughter graduate high school found himself staring at a new horizon. Berlin's roar when Jelly Roll walked out in Berlin, the crowd erupted. Thousands of fans, some who had followed him from his rap beginnings, others who discovered him through his country ballads, screamed his name as if they had all been part of his journey. "Berlin," he bellowed, his voice shaking the venue. "This is my first time riding in your city, and I swear I'm skinny enough to do it now." The crowd roared with laughter and love. For years, Jelly had joked about his size, often self-deprecating, always honest. But now the punchline wasn't about defeat. It was about victory. He had, in fact, zipped around the city earlier that day on an electric scooter, something he hadn't been able to do before. A simple ride that most people took for granted had become a personal victory lap. Backstage, his wife wiped tears from her eyes. She had seen the work, the sweat, the doubts that nearly crushed him. She knew the scooter ride in Berlin wasn't just a tourist activity, it was symbolic. The man she loved had fought his way back to life. More than just weight loss. To the untrained eye, it might have seemed like a story about physical change. But those who knew Jelly Roll's journey understood. The weight loss was only the surface. The real transformation was inside. In Berlin, as he sang "Save Me," his voice cracked with a rawness that no diet or exercise plan could teach. Fans held up their phones, lights swaying like fireflies, and some cried openly. The song had always been about survival, about clawing your way back from the brink. Now, sung by a man who had physically reshaped his existence, the lyrics carried new weight. "Every pound I lost," Jelly told the crowd between songs, "wasn't just fat. It was fear, it was pain. It was all the times I told myself I couldn't. And Berlin, I'm telling you right now, I did." The arena shook with applause. The symbol of the scooter long after the show, fans shared photos of him riding through Berlin, laughing, wind tugging at his jacket. That scooter ride became symbolic. To some, it was just Jelly Roll having fun. To others, it was proof that no victory was too small to celebrate. Berliners who didn't even know his music stopped and stared at the tattooed man, cruising through grinning like a kid. He wasn't just a celebrity, he was a story of possibility. The fans' reaction social media lit up within hours. My man lost 200 pounds and gained a whole new life. Berlin, you just witnessed history. Jelly roll on a scooter might be the most inspiring thing I've seen this year. Proof that no matter how far gone you feel, you can ride again. Thank you, Jelly. For many fans, his story wasn't about music anymore. It was about their own battles, weight, addiction, depression, or simply the fear of starting over. Jelly Roll wasn't just skinny enough to ride, he was strong enough to lead. The road ahead Berlin was only the beginning. The European leg of his tour promised nights in London, Paris, Dublin, and Rome. Each city would see a new man, physically transformed, spiritually renewed, musically unstoppable. And yet, Jelly Roll promised he wasn't changing what mattered. I might be smaller, he laughed in a press conference, but I'll still eat your mama's pie if she offers it. The room erupted with laughter, the kind only Jelly could spark. The charm, the grit, the humility, they remained. What had vanished was the shadow of defeat. A universal truth at its heart, Jelly Roll's Berlin story wasn't about celebrity. It wasn't even about weight loss. It was about proving that redemption wasn't just a lyric, it was a lifestyle. The man who once doubted his worth was now rolling freely through the streets of Europe, living proof that transformation is possible when you fight long enough, hard enough, and with enough love in your corner. And as Berlin drifted into the early morning hours, his laughter still echoing in the streets, one truth was undeniable. Sometimes, victory doesn't look like awards or money. Sometimes, it looks like a tattooed man riding a scooter under the Berlin lights minus 200 pounds lighter, infinitely stronger, and finally free.